Now, Nigeria has one of the highest drug prevalence in West Africa. Statistics from the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime say that 14.4% of Nigerians are presently engaged in drug abuse. Of that figure, 27.7% are youth still in school. This portends a great danger for the future of the country. The World Drug Report for the last 2 years identifies cannabis as the most abused drug. A more worrisome trend is the fact that 1 in every 10 drug user is a woman. Data collected around the globe suggests that this has elevated cases of gender-based violence. Chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Mohammed Buba Marwa, has called for collaboration between the government and youth to secure the nation in the face of various drug substances. With me in the studio for more insight on this is a registered nurse and the founder mentoring Teenagers Initiative, Mary Ozuruonye Agholor. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope I got your name correct.
Yes, you tried.
Also in the studio is a convener, Youth Arise for Change Initiative, Femi Emmanuel. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, when you look on social media, you see videos of young persons reacting to all sorts of substances that they have taken. What is even more worrisome is the fact that some are laughing, others are filming, and we just see these things going on. And it's generating some level of concern that a lot of our youth are engaging in drug substance abuse. And I'm wondering, what is at the heart of this?
You know, we are at that point in our society today where a lot of things we should be worried about has become a norm. You know, right. The fact that an individual is exhibiting the effects of drug abuse, and some are filming, like you said. I mean, it shows the level of decadence in the society. Now, looking at the statistics that you just mentioned earlier, you realize that the rate at which young people use this drug has really increased, even in recent time. And it's very common with teenagers, especially those still in school, secondary schools. You know, and you begin to wonder why it's common within this age range.
Absolutely, because they're still in school, they have no responsibility, so to speak.
Exactly. And you know, the friends they keep, peer pressure, the environment they are being raised, and then what they see, even in media and in films, you know, on social media and the likes, also plays a very important role in this aspect of the reason why they go into these drugs. Now, drug abuse and substance abuse itself is the use of drugs or chemical substances that will give you a level of satisfaction, so to speak, you know, satisfaction from their own point of view, satisfaction, and let's say it gives this, oh, I'm high, oh, I'm fulfilled, oh, I love this feeling, you know. So, and that feeling, they always want to be there. And because they always want to be at that feeling, you know, feeling that thing, that satisfying thing for them, they would want to keep doing it, keep taking it, so that they can always have that feeling, you know. So, and it gets to a point where they become addicted to it, because these things, marijuana, cocaine, cannabis, and so many of them like that are all drugs of addiction. You know, the moment you indulge 1, 2, 3, 4 times, you become addicted, in fact, without even knowing it. And once you're addicted, it becomes very difficult to stop it, because an addictive substance would always want you to keep taking it. In fact, addiction itself has become a mental problem on its own. So when you're even trying to ask a youth or an individual who is indulging to stop taking drugs, you need to first of all treat addiction. This is when you treat addiction, then you can now start changing the mindset of that individual from taking the drugs. So it's a very compound, or let me say a very complex problem already on ground. And so all stakeholders need to join hands together and meet minds to be able to help the society.
Stakeholders, have been, you know, engaging. You know, a lot of people have not been silent on this matter. We have been talking about it. And I'm wondering what is left to be talked about that is not really inching us closer to seeing that level, that in terms of bringing it to the barest minimum in terms of this issue of substance abuse.
Three things quickly. One, we have been cutting off the fruits rather than treating the roots.
Okay.
I will put that in a better perspective. One, the entertainment sector is filled with successful quote-unquote artists that due to their wealth and their songs, the lyrics, the influence they have on the young minds, they see in their music videos, they see these so-called role models doing some of these things, indulging in this. So it's difficult to now redefine for a young mind that success has nothing to do with abuse. That's number one.
Right.
Number two is the fact that growing up, most of us had family. You had an uncle, you had a grandma, you had a grandpa, you have an aunt that even when your parents are not too available, they are there to help you drive home more.
They were like stopgap measures.
Exactly. But at the moment, even uncle is hustling. And even grandma can't even come to take care of babies anymore because everyone wants to make money. Parents leave home very early in the morning, like Lagos will leave here, and come back so late when they're probably asleep. So the family factor back then it's missing. Back then you hear people say to you that remember the child of whom you are, but at the moment most people don't even know the child of who they are. It's more about, oh, I want to be like ABC I see on TV. So if we don't connect those two dots, then we will not get it right. Then let me say the last part is probably the religious sector, and sadly the definition of success has also changed at the religious sector too. The caliber of people they give titles and they recognize has affected how we see them as a beacon of hope that could probably help drive home morals or drive home spiritual tendencies. So when these three aspects are not doing what they ought to do, then you expect that teachers, they leave it to schools. What? Schools are just supposed to concentrate on education. So expecting schools now to drive morals, to drive values, that is where we got it wrong. That is where we got it all wrong. A child gets to school by 7:30, 7:15, closes by 4 p.m. The lesson teacher takes over till the parent is back. Then where is the gap? They watch TV when they are less busy. So you find out that these three, this triangle, if we don't take care of it, if we don't solve it, then the population will keep increasing.
Right. Now, one other issue is the fact that women are also part of this group, and it is increasing by the day, and it is said to have also elevated cases of gender-based violence in terms of women abusing substance. How worrisome is this part of, women are supposed to be nurturers, and now they are, being part of this group of persons who they are supposed to nurture. Isn't that a complex matter?
It is a complex matter. In fact, the fact that the rate at which women also abuse drugs as, in fact, it's worrisome to me as a person because aside being a nurse, I am also a crusader for women, gender-based violence, women liberation and the likes of it. And I believe some of the things women go through in this part of the world and in this generation, let me put it that way, is one of the reasons why they feel, okay, let me go into drugs. It's to give me this pleasure, it's to give me this fulfillment, or it's to take away my worries and all that, and it's the wrong mindset. So I believe there should be a wide range campaign and awareness, and that is why some of us are now starting the awareness with the teenagers, and then we progress to the older adults, and then we go to, okay, let's streamline to gender, men, women, and let's see how it affects them differently. So women really need to stand up and come up to the reality of the fact that indulging in drugs or substance abuse is not going to solve any problem, whatever it is they are going through. Because when you talk to those who are addicts already, one of the things they tell you is, oh, I'm taking it to cope with the situation I'm going through? Like, how can this even help you to cope when it's even destroying your life? It's even adding to the problems, because by the time you start dealing with the addiction, it's a bigger problem than what you are trying to cope with initially. So I think we need a wide range awareness for men separately,
so
for women separately, for young people separately.
This level of awareness and narrow it down to base on the challenges each gender faces that pushes them to, you know, abuse substances.
And that was why we started with teenagers. You know, we had to flag off a campaign for young people in secondary schools, you know, starting with one secondary school to the other, you know, you just start from somewhere, and before you know what's happening, the impact is going wider. You know, the ones who listen to the message today will go home and tell their colleagues at home, and then they will tell others and tell their parents and everything. So when you solve the problem with the group separately, yes, you know, solve it in young people, solve it in men, solve it in women, then we'll see where we can actually really help the society to rid the society of this menace of drug abuse. Generally, it's really a very serious case, especially for women, like you said. So with the rise of gender-based violence, you know, women not being empowered, and they are going through a lot, they have children to cater for, and then they are married to husbands that are not very responsible, for some of them, you know, and the likes of it. So they just feel, okay, what I can do to cope through this is to just indulge in this, and then it will help me to feel better. And then before you know what's happening, they get addicted, and it becomes a bigger problem.
Right. Now that we have groupings for men, women, and then teenagers, how about the parents? They also play a major role. Charity begins at home. Shouldn't we have groupings for them as well?
We are looking into that, and in fact, I am of the opinion that there's a need for us to focus on parents. I'll tell you why. One, parenting in time past focused on females, the daughters, training them to be good women until they get married and end up marrying a guy that was not trained. Now, such a guy abuses her, and she wants to fight back, or she probably loses her life, and other females are thinking we have to find a way to equip ourselves. So it now has to do with trying to help the guys more. It's not enough. There are no gender roles when it comes to chores. Parents should know that right now. There are certain things that you don't give one a privilege over the other. Yeah, exactly. You have to set the rules at home. So I think we should do more work on parents. The challenge is that parents at the moment are pursuing money, and it's difficult.
Well, they have to provide for the family. That excuse is going to be there.
But the truth is, once what's the importance of having so much, and these children you have refused to infuse morals into, end up selling off every of the things you've acquired, even during your lifetime. So we have to find a balance. We have to try to find a balance. And if you ask me, I think opening communication channels between parents and children is what is lacking. You don't really need to be physically there to be available for your children. But some children, even when the parents are at home, some children can't even talk to their parents, can't even open up, can't even tell them about what they're going through. So communication, opening communication gap between parent and children is a way to go, if we really need to talk to parents. In fact, we've had a case where the parents didn't know that the child is already indulging for 2 years under their roof. He was already doing all this codeine, marijuana, everything. You know, he was already, you understand? And the parents are there, and they never knew. In fact, they never got a glimpse of it. And he was living under their roof, going to school every morning, coming back from school in the evenings, and the parents wake up in the morning, they go to work. And that's it. For 2 years before they discovered, and it was already becoming too late, because the boy was addicted, and fighting addiction, you know, the problem with addiction is that once you're addicted, you keep craving for that pleasure, and even when you want to stop, you start exhibiting the symptoms of withdrawals. You know, so when you're exhibiting the symptoms of withdrawals, then they want to go back to it because they want to feel better. The symptoms of withdrawals is even a very serious case on its own, because the body has already gotten used to that
substance. And the moment you stop taking it for a few days, the body is calling for it, and that is withdrawal symptom.
Right. So parents rather needs to be vigilant. Quickly, your final word on this, because we need to wrap up.
I'll say there is a need for the entertainment industry, the education sector, parents, family, to understand that if we do not tackle this menace, it's a time bomb waiting
to
explode.
Right, and yours?
Yes, I would like to encourage adults, well-meaning adults, stakeholders in the society to join us together to help us with this awareness, and let us run this campaign. Let us educate the young people. Let's educate everyone using every means possible that we can actually explore to preach this gospel of the fact that people need to stop indulging in drug and substance abuse.
Absolutely, and that's a fine place to leave this conversation. Thank you so much. Registered nurse and the founder, Mentoring Teenagers Initiative, Mary Ozuruonye Agholor.
Thank you.
And convener, Youth Arise for Change Initiative, Femi Emmanuel, for your time as well.
Thank you for having me.